We hear it all the time. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. But what if I told you that the secret to a killer tomorrow actually starts the night before? Today, we're going to dive into how your dinner isn't just the end of your day, it's really the first step to becoming a more focused, energized, and productive you. Think about that for a second. This one idea is a total game changer. It reframes dinner from just, the last meal of the day into this incredibly powerful tool. Seriously, the choices you make at that dinner table directly impact how well you sleep, and that, in turn, sets the stage for your mood, your focus, and your performance the very next morning. So here's our game plan for today. First, we're going to uncover the common sleep saboteurs that you really need to look out for. Then we'll get into the 3 powerful rules for crafting the perfect dinner: the golden ratio, fueling up on sleep nutrition, and harnessing the power of timing and warmth. And then at the end, we'll wrap it all up into a simple blueprint you can literally start using tonight. Okay, before we start building the perfect meal, we've got to clear the path a little bit. That means identifying what to avoid. So let's talk about 3 common culprits that can absolutely sabotage your rest and wreck your focus for the next day. First up on our list are those heavy, high-fat dishes. You know what I'm talking about: fried foods, a big, rich steak, or really anything that just feels heavy in your stomach. And hey, while they might be delicious, they can be a real problem for your sleep cycle. So here's what's actually going on inside your body. To get that deep, restorative sleep we all crave, your body's core temperature needs to drop. But when your digestive system is stuck working overtime on a heavy meal, it's kind of like leaving an engine running all night. It keeps your body temperature high and literally prevents you from getting that quality rest you need. Next up, stimulants. Now, this category includes things like really spicy foods that can irritate your stomach, but the main offender, of course, is caffeine. And you gotta be careful because it's not just in coffee. It can be hiding in teas, sodas, and even some desserts. You see, caffeine wages this two-front war on your sleep. It's a double whammy. Not only can it mess with your digestion, but it also chemically blocks the signals in your brain, the stuff called adenosine, that tells you it's time to get sleepy. It's basically putting up a giant roadblock on your path to dreamland. And finally, let's talk about that nightcap. It's a really common belief, right? That a drink before bed helps you sleep. And sure, it might make you feel drowsy and even fall asleep faster, but trust me, the effect is incredibly misleading. This is the great paradox of alcohol. It acts like a sedative at first, but it completely demolishes your sleep quality. It suppresses your REM sleep, which is vital for memory and emotional health, and then, as your body metabolizes it, you're much more likely to wake up in the middle of the night. You end up feeling groggy instead of refreshed. All right, so now that we've kicked the saboteurs out, let's get constructive. Our very first iron rule is all about what's called the golden ratio. Building a meal that's both lightweight on your system but absolutely packed with the nutrients you need for recovery. Okay, take a look at this. This is your blueprint. Notice how it's mostly protein and vegetables. We're talking about 80% of your plate. And carbs, they're kept to a minimum, just around 20%. This ratio is perfect because it gives you that sustained energy without totally overburdening your digestive system right when it should be winding down for a night of rest. Now, when it comes to that protein portion, the key is to think easy to digest. Fish like salmon is a fantastic choice. Why? Because it digests way faster than red meat, and it comes with that awesome bonus of healthy omega-3 fats. And of course, plant-based options like tofu and beans are also excellent. They're gentle on the stomach, and you can find them pretty much anywhere. And look, this isn't just theory. Here's the proof right here. This personal account shows the real-world impact of switching to the golden ratio. By simply swapping out a bunch of heavy carbs for warm veggies and a lighter protein, the result was deeper sleep and a much more refreshed start to the day. It really works. Let's move on to iron rule number 2. This is all about biohacking your sleep. It's about eating the specific nutrients your brain needs to produce those essential sleep hormones. You can literally eat your way to better rest. How cool is that? It all comes down to this really simple but powerful biological pathway. So you eat foods that have an amino acid called tryptophan. Your body then takes that tryptophan and uses it to create melatonin. Yep, that famous hormone that basically sends a signal to your brain saying, hey, it's time for some deep quality sleep. Your dinner is the perfect chance to kickstart this whole process. So where do you find this magic amino acid, tryptophan?
Well, it's abundant in foods like tofu and soy milk. Fish, especially salmon, is another powerhouse source, and it also has B vitamins, which actually help your body with that conversion to melatonin. Adding these to your dinner is like making a direct investment in your sleep.
And this is where it gets really fun. You can create some powerful synergy by pairing these foods. Tofu with miso soup, for example, combines that tryptophan with gut-calming fermented foods. Or salmon with broccoli. That gives you both the raw materials and the helper vitamins to supercharge that hormone production. These aren't just meals, they're basically sleep-promoting formulas. And here is the perfect example of a meal built entirely around this rule. A sesame soy milk soup. It delivers tryptophan from the soy, it warms the body, it's incredibly gentle on the stomach, and it gives you that sense of feeling full and relaxed. It literally checks all the boxes for a perfect pre-sleep meal. Okay, let's get to our final rule, because listen, you can have the most perfectly crafted, nutrient-dense meal in the world, but if your timing is off, you're going to lose a lot of the benefits. When you eat is just as important as what you eat. The key here is to give your body a buffer. The goal is to finish eating at least 3 hours before you go to bed. This gives your digestive system plenty of time to do its job and start winding down, so when your head finally hits the pillow, your entire body can focus on rest and repair, not on digestion. But hey, let's be realistic. Life happens, and sometimes late dinners are just unavoidable. On those nights, you need a defense plan. The key is to reduce the burden on your stomach as much as possible. So switch from heavy, solid foods to something way easier to digest, like a warm soup or even a simple yogurt. Simple, warm soups are your absolute best friend on a late night. Think about things like chicken soup, lentil soup, or a light minestrone. Honestly, even just a cup of warm, low-sodium broth can be enough to satisfy you and warm your body from the inside out, getting it ready for rest. Okay, let's bring it all together now. I know we've covered a lot, but the ultimate dinner blueprint for better sleep and a more focused tomorrow, well, it's actually simpler than you might think. You see, it all really comes down to two simple keys: getting that tryptophan and adding a little bit of warmth. You don't have to do a complete overhaul. The path to better sleep and a more focused you can start with just one small change tonight. So, looking back at the rules we covered, what's the one thing you can try? Maybe it's hitting that golden ratio or just eating a little bit earlier. Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching and sleep well.